Well, we're hitting a topic today that just it's in my crawl. So here we go. You know what happens when I get something in my head? Um, how many of you have had a supervisor that comes to you and says, "Well, listen, Pandy, I really want you to stop what you're doing. I really want you to go over here and do this over here, and I want you to do it this way." Or even better, "Look, I've told you a million times, I just don't want to see this ever again, or you've got to stop doing what you're doing. I need you to think about what you're doing, and I need you to do it this way." I have talked to so many people when I hear an HR person or an executive say, I don't know what to do. This supervisor just doesn't seem to be very effective. We just don't really know whether the employees enjoy working with them, and we just can't get the response out of the team like we should be. And I would hope that some of you out there heard what I hear when this kind of feedback comes to me, and I get these kind of situations. Because the show today is to remind you, to remind your teams that we have got to stop approaching our employees. We've got to stop approaching conversations and concerns in the business from a personal perspective. And we need to bring back the professionalism that seems to be lacking right now. Did you hear the word that I used in those examples? I, I need, I want. I want you to do this. I need you to do this. It's what I want. And if we think about this, it's a natural way for us to communicate, but it's not what an employee is going to respond to in this day of age. Okay, at one time, and again, you're talking to the old shoe here who's been doing this for 45 years. There was a time when there was a level of respect, and it really did not matter what was going on in the business. I was so focused on the people that I reported to that I wanted to make them happy. I wanted to impress them. I wanted them to, really see potential in me. So to hear them say "I" didn't bother me. In fact, I really felt it maybe bonded us. But in today's workplace, it's a different world. And what we now have found in the number of years with all this oversensitivity, the mental health issues that we've got going on, the claims of harassment, the amount of claims of discrimination, what we have in the workplace is a group of individuals who need to know that what they're being asked to do is not unreasonable and it's not personal, but that it's actually according to the needs of the business. And I cannot tell you how complimented I felt when one of my larger clients looked at me. The VP looked at me one day, and I've been with him for 9, 10 years. And he looked at me and he said, one of the greatest lessons you've taught me over these years is to see the world through the needs of the business and to understand that when I engage with my teams or when I engage with my management team, I'm helping them understand their impact on the business and why they're here. Why did we hire them? And isn't that really what all of us want to know? What are the needs of the business? And a management member or a supervisor who has lost focus on that is not managing. They are not supervising correctly. There are so many times when an employee feels entitled to a promotion or entitled to a transfer or entitled to an award or bonus. And it's hard for them to understand when a supervisor comes to them and says, "Oh, well, I can't give that to you." Yeah, well, um, they didn't feel that you were ready to be promoted, or um, yeah, I found someone else who is better for the position, or I'm not going to be able to get you that raise. What is going through that individual's mind today is, you don't like me, you're picking on me, and this was your fault that I failed, or it's your fault that I'm not getting promoted. When in fact, think how different it would come across. Remember perception? You all know how I view perception. Perception is 99% reality. How would it be viewed if that same supervisor came back and said, well, Pandy, if you had accomplished the milestones, if you had met the expectations, if you had, you know, completed that certification, we could easily provide you with the increase that we talked about. If you do finish your coursework, or if you do um, come in extra hours and put in extra time, absolutely, you will have earned it. But it's not the supervisor saying, well, I can't get it for you, or I choose not to get it for you. It's, you didn't earn it, or the needs of the company don't require it. If supervisors would start understanding and communicating so that employees understand their impact if they go to the left, their impact if they go to the right. And those of you who have listened to either my Substack articles, or you've listened to some of my training programs on consequences, you understand that every decision, every act has a consequence. And when we explain to the employees that what they're doing has an impact directly associated with the needs of the company, they understand that, hey, maybe I'm not being discriminated against. Maybe you're not retaliating against me because I didn't want to come in and put extra hours in. Maybe you're not, upset with me because I didn't get that certification. You're just telling me that I can't get the raise because I didn't get because the company isn't going to reward me for not having a certification. The company is not going to reward me for not coming in and putting the extra time in. The company needed me to meet the milestones. It's the company who is making the decisions. It's not my supervisor. It's not my manager. Employees are more likely to engage in a conversation and understand, well, okay, so the company, well, how do I convince the company that I'm worth that promotion? How can I fit within the company goals? And those are the conversations you want to have. You want them to feel as if they are a part of the bigger picture. I'll tell you, this younger generation, if you aren't already building succession plans for them, if you're not already explaining to them how they can grow, they're looking somewhere else. They will move on. And there are so many times when I literally have to go in and sit between an employee and a manager, and I look at them and say, well, wait a minute, he wasn't harassing you. So just because he kept asking you to do this, and he kept asking you to do this, and he kept asking you to do this, please understand, it wasn't because he needed you to get this done. The department needed you to get this done. Your client was expecting you to get this done. And if one little tweak in that conversation had been rather him saying I, and he had said, well, can the client expect that tomorrow? Will you be able to meet the milestone for the department so they can get their work done? Look, this is not rocket science. It is not rocket science. And all of you listening to this podcast, go back to your teams and listen to how they're engaging, maybe even engaging with you. How many times are they using the word I? How many times is your supervisor using the word I with you? And how much more rewarding would that conversation be if you backed it up and said, well, let's work together. Tell me what the needs of the business are. I'd really like to be a part of this company, and I'd like to know I'm successful in meeting those needs. Okay. So I've been wanting to do that conversation for a long time. So thank you so much for listening. Maybe it's the new podcast studio. Maybe it's all of this that gave me the courage to just kind of cut that out. But guys, again, HR is hard. I get it. Working with people, dealing with all these crucial conversations, these confrontational conversations, they sometimes get hard. But we're doing our best to give you as much information, to give you the tools that you need to be successful. And the more feedback you can give us, the harder we'll try. Thank you again for making us so successful. Keep listening, keep sending in your information. And if you need anything, reach out to me on LinkedIn or call me at the Human Resource USA. We're here to help. Take care.